Can one girl in a small town, an architect in a major city, and a suburban high school coach shape the future of the United States? Yes, they can. Because every 10 years, the census gives us that power. You can shape your future by responding to the 2020 census. Where do we need new roads to make our lives easier? Where will new school programs help our children thrive? Where could a new health clinic benefit neighborhoods? The 2020 census will inform these decisions and shape how billions of dollars will be distributed to communities like yours each year. And in 2020, you can respond to the census online, by phone, or by mail. It's easy, safe, and important. Make sure you and everyone you know is counted. Now is the time for you to get involved. Your community needs you. Together, we can educate and excite, inspire and make sure every voice is heard. Together, we can shape our future.
I'm Phyllis Jackson. Welcome to Stay at Home Connect.
The drug dexamethasone is being hailed as a major breakthrough in the fight against coronavirus. Researchers in the UK held clinical trials involving 2,100 COVID-19 patients. They say the inexpensive, widely used steroid reduced death rates by 1/3 among the most critically ill hospitalized patients on ventilators. Researchers stressed that among COVID-19 patients requiring no respiratory support, dexamethasone provided no benefits. The FDA revokes the emergency use authorization for hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine. The organization says both medications are unlikely to be effective in treating COVID-19 and have led to serious cardiac adverse events and other major side effects. Music Midtown 2020 has been rescheduled due to the coronavirus. The massive music event will be held September 18th and 19th of 2021. Current ticket holders don't need to worry. Organizers say the tickets will be valid for the new dates. Full refunds are available for those who cannot attend.
Before returning to play, kids, coaches, and parents can follow these tips to protect themselves and others from COVID-19.
The CDC issues tips on keeping kids safe while participating in sports. Among the recommendations, bring your own equipment and don't share towels or any items you would use to wipe your face or hands. The City of Atlanta designates this week as Cheek Week to spread the word about the need for Black and African American donors to donate bone marrow. Atlanta City Council member Andre Dickens issues a statement regarding Cheek Week, calling it an SOS to the Black and African American community, as well as all from ethnically diverse backgrounds. It reads in part, "Please step up and help save a life, because we are the cure. We have the power within us to help change one more disparity affecting Black lives, and it starts with a simple cheek swab."
Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
Committee. Today is June 23rd, 2020. We've been joined on the line by our analyst, Jared Evans. Jared, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, great. Would you please go through a roll call of the members, please? And
Councilman,
after statement.
sure. Councilmember Boone.
Present.
Councilmember Hillis. Councilmember Matzkite. Here. Councilmember Shepard. Councilmember Shook. Aye. Councilmember Winslow. Council President Moore, are you on the line?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
It's on the line.
Councilmember, there's Madam Chair, there's a quorum present.
All right, let's read the opening statement, please.
This City Utilities Committee is being conducted remotely as advertised and in accordance with OCGA 50-14-1. The meeting will be conducted in conformance with Robert's Rules of Order and the Rules of Council as authorized by the City Code. The public may access the meeting by dialing 877-579-6743, conference ID 831-599-1256, which was noted on the Friday, June 19th, 2020 public meeting notice. The public may also view the meeting on Channel 26, the Council's homepage at citycouncil.atlantagA.gov, the Council's YouTube channel, or the Council's Facebook and Twitter pages via @ATL Council. All presentations are available on the Atlanta City Council City Utilities Committee presentation page. The agenda was published and made available Friday, June 19th, 2020 via atlantacityga.iqm2.com. In addition, the public was able to submit comments via voicemail at 404-330-6057 up to 1 hour prior to this meeting. These comments will be played during the public comment portion of the meeting. All persons present on the remote council meeting conference bridge are requested to mute your phones and speakers. Additionally, speakers must be acknowledged by the presiding officer prior to speaking. Each council member is requested to open your Outlook email and minimize the screen. Amendments, substitutes, and informational documents have been distributed to committee members beforehand. Thank you all in advance for your cooperation.
All right, thanks very much, Mr. Evans. And do we have representatives from each of the relevant departments, law, DWM, all online? Have you already confirmed that?
No, ma'am, I have not confirmed that they are on the conference call at this time.
All right, do we have representatives of law on the line?
Kristen Wong. This is Kristen Wong from Law.
Good morning. What about Public Works?
Line unmuted.
Okay.
Good morning.
Madam Chair, this is Council President Moore. I got disconnected. I'm back. Thanks.
Work?
And Chairman Archibong, this is Councilmember Winslow. I'm on the line as well.
Great. Good morning.
Morning. Thank you.
So now moving to DPW, who's on the line?
Eric Hawkins, Department of Watershed Management. Muhammad Bala, Department of Watershed Management.
Rob Bacaro, Department of Watershed Management.
Makita Browning, Department of Watershed Management.
Tori Martin, Department of Watershed Management.
Christy Bickham,
Department of Watershed Management.
Who was that last one?
Quentin Fletcher, Department of Watershed Management.
Got it. Thank you.
And Christy Bickham, Department of Watershed Management.
right. So maybe if I say DWN, DWN. Anyone here from Public Works? Ms. Evans sent some text messages out to make sure. I think Ms. Greenlee is from Public Works.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Who is this?
This is Kanika Greenlee with Public Works.
Right. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to move ahead, and anyone as technical themselves. We have a full complement of folks necessary to move forward. So the next order of business is the adoption of the agenda. This will be an electronic vote. I will entertain the motion. It does require a second.
So moved, Madam Kate.
Second, Winslow. Thank you. There's no other discussion. Please open the vote.
The vote is open.
I was not the mover, but okay. Ms. Mazakite was the mover. Ms. Winslow was the person who seconded.
Will everyone please vote?
So, Mr. Cook, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Boone?
Yes.
Is that your vote?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That should be all the votes, please. All right. And with the electronic and voice, this is unanimously adopted. Let's go to approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion that does require a second.
So moved, Madam Kate.
Thank you, Mr. And I'll second it. Let's open the vote, please.
The vote is open.
Mr. Shook, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Has everyone voted? All right, everyone has now voted, and that also was unanimously approved. Done. Next public comment. This is for the public to call in and to speak to matters pertaining to this committee. I will tell the committee and the public that we did receive 77 calls for a total of 47 minutes and I believe 8 seconds. And I have listened to those voicemails and have decided that and have discovered that only one of the messages pertain to City Utilities Committee. So that message will in fact be read. The remaining 76 messages will be placed online at a designated location on our website, public comment, and it will be, as I understand it, set up by committee. Listen to the 76 messages that were left. They were all pertaining to the urge for us to reconsider Ordinance 20-R46. This was part of our budget deliberation, and that budget approved. With regard to public comment, please go to our website, public comment page, and listen to those comments from citizens who are concerned. This is a request. That being said, let's move to the one public comment that was pertaining to city utilities, please.
A special greetings to you citizens of Atlanta who care about what your elected officials are doing for you and to you. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. My comments are about People's TV, which falls under the purview of this committee. Despite sending out more than 200 emails the chair and the executive director were unable to obtain a quorum at a recent meeting. Please do what you can to see that the 4 board slots allocated for the city council and the 3 board slots
Line muted.
to the mayor are filled by community-conscious, grassroots citizens who believe in public television. Secondly, despite the fact that it was around the middle of the month, the city's payment to People TV for the month of June had not been received by People TV leadership. Many citizens pay their rent or their mortgage prior to the first of the month. It is not unconventional. Please consider taking action to have the city's July payment to People TV made somewhere around the 25th of this month. And then please follow that pattern throughout the rest of this current contract. I am particularly interested in having People TV swing back into action and revive APAB Rundown and the NPU on TV so that the antics of the NPU online can be aired. Antonita Robinson, Clovis Clare, Ricardo Jacobs, Alfred White, Lynette O. Scott, and Allison Hathaway.
All right. Does that conclude Mr. Howard's comment?
It seems to.
All right. I am getting text messages from the public. Apparently, there's some sound quality issues. Understanding someone's watching, let's see, YouTube. And I don't know if anyone else is having problems on Facebook or the other platforms through which one may listen to this meeting, but I want to make sure that we have all of our technical difficulties resolved. I understand from our IT manager that my opening comments did not come through. So I'm going to repeat briefly that we did receive 77 comments from the public. Only one of them pertained to matters within the purview of our committee. Those remaining 76 messages, all of which pertain to urging us to reconsider Ordinance 20-R4068, which is the Jennifer Odd budget amendment that asks that the police funding be handled differently than we ultimately decided. Those 76 messages will be stored on the City Council webpage under a new page called Public Comment, and under City Utilities. These comments will be available for all of the colleagues to listen to, as well as the public, and I do urge everyone to listen to those comments. It was for a total of 47 minutes and I believe 8 seconds. Thank you very much. That now concludes public comment. I see that we do not have any presentations or updates at this time. Is that correct, Mr. Evans?
That is correct.
All right, then let's go to Section G, Consent Agenda, Ordinances for First Reading. Mr. Evans.
Item number 1, 20-0-1460, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2021 Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension budget in the amount of $11,500,000.00 to transfer funds from the Watershed Reserve for appropriations and add funds to the Program Management Services Team project and for other purposes. Item number 2, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor to enter into Amendment number 4 with Rockdale Pipeline, Inc., Integral Municipal Services Corporation, JV, for FC 8412B, annual contract for sanitary sewer repairs on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management in an amount not to exceed $5 million and 0 cents, to extend the term of the agreement on a month-to-month basis for a period not to exceed 6 months, effective July 29, 2020, through January 28, 2021, in accordance with Section 2-1163 of Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the Fund Department organization and account numbers listed, and for other purposes. Item number 3, 20-0-1462, An ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor to enter into Amendment Number 3 with Ruby Collins, LLC for FC 8412A. Annual contract for sanitary sewer repairs on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management in an amount not to exceed $8 million and 0 cents to extend the term of the agreement on a month-to-month basis for a period not to exceed 6 months effective July 29, 2020 through January 28, 2021. In accordance with Section 2-1163 of Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, all contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the Fund Department organization and account number listed and for other purposes. Item number 4, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor to enter into renewal number 2 for FC 9695, annual contract for trace organic laboratory services with Analytical Environmental Services, Inc., on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management in an amount not to exceed $60,000 and 0 cents, with a retroactive effective date of June 1st, 2020 through May 31st, 2021, in accordance with Section 2-1163, Article 10 of the Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the Fund Department organization and account number listed and for other purposes. That concludes the first read items.
All right, let's move on to Section H of our regular agenda, ordinances for second reading. Mr. Evans.
Item number 5, 20-0-1429, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor to enter into Amendment Number 1 with Wade Coots Company, Inc. for FC 8473, annual contract for large water meter testing and repair services on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management in an amount not to exceed $1,500,000 and 0 cents, to extend the term of the agreement on a month-to-month basis for a period not to exceed 12 months with a retroactive effective date November 30th, 2019 through November 29th, 2020, in accordance with Section 2-1163 of Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes.
I understand there's an amendment that is being recommended, and that is in our handouts that we have already received. So I need a motion relative to that amendment.
So move, Shook.
All right, Mr. Shook makes the motion to amend. Second. Thank you. Mr. Evans, could you read that amendment into the record, please?
Yes, this legislation authorizes retroactive month-to-month authority, so this amendment will add specific language in the caption in the last whereas clause and Section 1 of the ordained clauses that will add the title of the code sections. So it would read, in accordance with Section 2-1163, solicitations or awards in violation of law, subsection C, remedies after the award.
All right. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any questions about that amendment? If not, we can open up the vote on the amendment.
The vote is open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. All right, that is the amendment now is unanimously approved. Now the paper is before us. Mr. Hawkins, tell us about this paper, please. Has he been unmuted?
I'm sending a message as we speak. I'm told he's not on the call.
All right. Is anyone from the department that can speak to us about this paper? Anyone from Watershed?
Hello, this is Muhammad Bala. So this legislation is to allow us to fund the large water meter testing and repair services for a period of 12 months. Eric said he's on the call. His mobile number was changed, so.
Oh, they wouldn't let him.
I guess the mobile number wasn't the one that was provided. He called it from a different one, but I can go ahead and take this. So it's for 1.5 million. There's a companion legislation requesting a 12-month extension for the large meter testing contract, and this work is needed essentially as part of our overall functions to make sure that the large meters are billing accurately, as well as capturing and making sure that the revenue that's associated with large meters is healthy.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me that we should take both these papers together. So I'm going to ask Mr. Evans to read in that resolution unless there's an objection from the committee. Hearing none, Mr. Evans, please read in that resolution.
Which item is that you're asking me to read, ma'am? I'm sorry.
The companion resolution that goes with this item.
Is it item number 11 on the agenda?
That's what I believe it is. No, that's part of all. I had it marked. Mr. Bala, do you know where it is?
No, I don't.
Well, let's just go with the one that's before us. We'll figure that out when we come to it. Colleagues, are there any questions relative to this ordinance? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move approval as amended.
Thank you. Second?
Mathicite.
Yes, sir. So it's been moved and second. Any discussion? If not, please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Everyone has now voted. That is unanimously approved. Thank you very much. Let's go to the next item, please.
Item number 6, 20-0-1430, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee to amend the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinance Part 2, General Ordinances, Chapter 154, Utilities, Article 2, Water and Sewer Billing and Collection Procedures, to provide for other notification methods for the outcome of a water and sewer billing dispute, to establish the date by which a notification is received by a customer, to make minor drafting amendments, and for other purposes.
All right, thank you. Who can speak to this paper from the department?
This is Muhammad. I can speak to it as well.
What are Mr. Hawkins' last four numbers of that cell phone if you want him to come in?
It is... Oh, 0967.
Okay, 0967, whoever's controlling has their hands on the levers. Please let phone number ending in 0967 come in. But in the meanwhile, Mr. Bala.
Hello.
Hey, you're here? Okay. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Eric Hawkins, Department of Watershed Management. The purpose of this code amendment is to increase process efficiency and the timeliness of customer communications with regard to dispute resolution notifications. by allowing email and standard mail communications as a best practice in today's norm. Currently, certified mail notifications require signature by the customer upon delivery. If the customer is not home, they must make time to visit the post office and to retrieve the notice, which is subject to unclaimed mail. So basically, after 15 days, if the customer does not retrieve the mail from the post office, it's subject to be sent back to the department. Taking these measures, we feel will also accommodate our current pandemic crisis as the city progressively executes its reentry strategies, in addition to reducing the postage expenses associated with certified mail-only communication. By allowing email communications, this allows the customer to engage the department specialist decisioning the account and becoming more familiar with how our meters work and billing adjustment protocols. This will allow the customer to make an informed decision on whether they want to move forward in the appeal process.
Do we have emails for all of our customers, or how do you get an email from someone who maybe had their account established years and years and years ago?
Well, one of the strategies we talked about was developing an online form where the customer can provide that information, and the email address can also be obtained verbally from the customer over the phone. So the strategy here is just to open up various channels of communications with the customer, so we can move our dispute process along and not solely relying on certified mail responses from customers.
So is it the thinking that we need to keep the certified mail option?
Yes, I do think the certified mail option is appropriate for those customers who may file and pay out of state, or we can utilize the certified mail process if we receive an invalid mail from the customer, from the intake process. So there is some benefits of using certified mail. I particularly feel strongly that email and standard mail would be appropriate for the process, because it allows us to move a lot faster through the process and communicate a lot more efficiently. It gives us a connection with the customer.
All right. Well, I want to thank you and your team for thinking along these lines. It's a wonderful, anything that we do that expands and increases our ability to connect with our customers is good in my mind. So I move approval. And we have a member who wants to speak. That's Mr. Malachi.
Thank you very much, Chairwoman. I had a question with regard to a couple of things on this. Text messages. I didn't see that this would include text message. And also, would we be sending in multiple forms, or would we be sending only in one form? So, for example, would we be sending via email and regular mail, or would we just be sending either email or regular U.S. mail?
Yeah, so if a customer has an email address that they can provide, we will provide the information through email communications. So what that will look like is essentially the customer will receive a notice outlining the decision of the dispute, and accompanied with that email would be an appeal form. So if the customer does not necessarily agree with the outcome of the review of the account, have all the information necessary to move forward the appeal process. Standard mail would be utilized, again, if the customer does not have access to email. And text messaging is something that we can look into. We're not particularly in a position now to launch that process. It's going to take some innovation and some coordination with our technology team to figure out how we could do something like that.
Okay, so this would just be the appeal form essentially would be sent via email. Is that correct?
It'll be the appeal form and also the of the dispute investigation of the customer. So essentially, the notice will let the customer know if the review of the account ended up in some form of adjustment to the account, and then explain what the adjustment amount was, and also point to the section of the code that authorized the adjustment. So the customer can understand the department's position on the dispute itself. If the customer does not agree with the outcome, the customer can complete the appeal form and send that back to us. And at that point, once the appeal form is received, the customer is placed on the Water Sewer Appeals calendar for a hearing. At that point, the appeals board will make the final decision.
Gotcha. Will customers have the, ability to select which communication method they would like?
Yes, our strategy is with the form itself. It'll provide all three options to the customer: email, standard mail, or certified mail. So the customer does have an option to select preferred method of communication.
And if they didn't select a preferred communications method, how would it be sent to them?
We're looking at possibly some form of follow-up with the customer to obtain preference, particularly by phone call or some other means. But if we're unable to get in contact with the customer, the next option would likely be standard mail. If the customer is if the customer is a local resident of the land.
Right. As been said, I applaud you guys for moving to some other more efficient forms of communication. I just am concerned and want to be sure that we do communicate with customers how they want to be communicated with, and don't assume that necessarily an email is being read, because sometimes they go to spam, and sometimes those are old email addresses, etc. And so I really am again, I like where you're going. I'd like a little bit more information on how the whole process is going to work, so that we ensure that, again, customers are communicated in the channel that they want to be, and that if they haven't selected it, that we are selecting a channel that's as the most reliable as possible.
Yes, definitely. I appreciate that feedback. We are definitely also working closely with the law department, who has purview over all of our forms. So we'll be more than happy to share that what the form looks like and outline the process to council.
How time sensitive is this?
Well, particularly the department, we try to manage within a 90-day SLA. We really feel that bringing in these channels, and the 90-day SLA is based on reviewing the customer's concern, investigating their complaint or dispute, and providing a most timely response possible. Right now, we're operating within a 90-day SLA. We would like to scale that back to 45 to 60 days. We think introducing the communication steps will allow us to achieve that. Once the customer gets the notice, the have up to 7 business days to make a determination whether they accept the findings of the city or if they would like to move forward in the appeal process.
I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. How time sensitive is this legislation?
And let me add to that, if I may. This is Rude. But as I read this, this is basically a situation where a customer has already engaged the department because there's a question about the bill. Is that right?
That is correct.
And so the opportunity to ask all these questions around, is this address correct? Is this email still correct? And all that is still available in the initial engagement with that customer who's concerned about their billing. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so Mr. Mazkite wants to know how time sensitive is this paper?
It's time sensitive in the spirit of we are experiencing a backlog processing the dispute because of the conditions of the COVID-19. This would help us moving along and reduce the number of outstanding disputes that we have.
Yeah, I appreciate that. If I just would feel better if we could understand exactly how the operations of this would work in a little bit more detail, and was wondering if it would be inconvenience to you if we were to hold this for a couple weeks while you share that information with this committee.
Absolutely. We'll be more than happy to do that. And as I stated, we are definitely working closely with the law department, and we should be able to produce some information to you within the next couple of weeks.
Okay. That would be my preference.
Substitute?
Madam Chair. Yeah, just to hold this so that we could get some more information about exactly the operation of how this works, and so that we can feel comfortable that folks are going to get this information. And I appreciate what you interjected in terms of they'll be engaging with the customer up front, and that's very helpful. So just having a better understanding of all those logistics would be my preference.
Okay, well, that would be called a substitute motion. I don't agree, but if anybody wants to second, they certainly can. I won't. Anybody want to second Mr. Mazkite's substitute motion? All right, if not, it dies for lack of a... Wait, go ahead. We can vote it up or down. Okay, great. That's fine. Who was that, Ms. Winslow?
Yes, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So it's been moved and second. I want to speak against it. This is simply adding for the department to add an additional way to contact customers who have already contacted the department and who are concerned about the billing. When we hear COVID-19, and I've gone to the post office one time during this whole pandemic, and if you're elderly or infirmed or have any underlying health consequences, this is an undue burden to have them only have access to communication during this dispute process by certified mail. I think the opportunity to continue looking at this is before us, but to limit the department right now to only using certified mail, I think is unduly burdensome and unhealthy, and it's not something that I can support.
So, Madam Chair, let me ask this question. So this, or maybe of the department, I'm not sure. So is this an additional way that they can contact? Mm-hmm. I mean, I know they're already in touch with them because if somebody doesn't appeal, people really want to give them all their information so they can, hopefully be successful on the appeal. And that's the proper way of getting in touch with them. So is this an additional way of getting in touch? It's another.
Absolutely.
So whoever can answer that. And maybe it's been already answered and I didn't hear it.
Eric Hawkins, Department of Watershed Management. I'm not sure if everyone can still hear me. Yes, this is a additional method of communication.
Right. It's just an additional one, right?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. So is it possible that you might send something certified and also send it this new way if you had to?
Well, and this this strategy helps us during the COVID-19 pandemic issue. Additionally, I wouldn't recommend that we do both mechanisms because of the fact there is a cost associated with certified mail.
Okay, so you're trying to get rid of that. Yeah, that's sometimes $3 or $4, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, it can be. I think that charge is actually. Yes, ma'am. I think the charge is actually $6.50.
Oh, it's gone up. Okay.
It is.
I guess I gave the old charge. Okay.
This may also be helpful. This may also be helpful as additional context. The city also receives a number of escalations throughout the city, particularly from the council members' offices, of the mayor's office, and those are not dispute channels. However, they are some form of a dispute. So we already have a relationship with our customers that, they actually appreciate the email communication because it's timely and it allows them to ask department questions and help them better understand.
But for those people who may be senior citizens, we all know a lot of them don't have email. Would you still be contacting them by phone or whatever method they would want? I guess it would be telephone.
Yes, ma'am. Telephone communication is always a method of communication, but for this in particularly, we would definitely send our citizens documentation in the mail. Now that can be regular mail or certified mail, but I want to point out that the spirit of this is upon consent from the customer, allowing the customer to identify how they would like to be communicated with, and we anticipate that overwhelmingly our customers are going to prefer the email communication if they have email. So it's no penalty to any customer that does not have an email address because we can send them. We can communicate with the customer over the phone. We can also send them the information via mail. And as other concerns raised, I particularly would not want the person have to go to the post office to receive documentation. That would be more convenient to just send as a normal standard mail to the resident.
Because right now that's the way they have to. That's the way they have to be notified.
Yes, as right now, yes, ma'am.
That's the only way that they can be notified. I mean, they have to be officially notified with some official documentation from the city of Atlanta.
Yes, ma'am, according to the ordinance. Yes, ma'am. Certified mail is the only official way that allow us to communicate with our customers about the status of the dispute.
Okay, so let me ask this follow-up question. This is getting in the weeds a little bit. So if you sent something out and the person didn't respond, or you send something out, and you're asking them to respond and they don't respond within a certain number of days, what would be your mechanism for doing a follow-up? Because I'm kind of going along with what Councilmember Matsakite is saying, and we're getting into the weeds, I know that. But it could be, computers mess up all the time because they're made by human beings, okay? And sometimes stuff does go into spam or it goes into junk mail, and people don't see it because it happens with us, at City Hall. So I'm just, and I don't know how the appeal process goes or, what the rules are and all that stuff. But it can happen.
Yes, ma'am. I think a solution for that could be sending the email in addition to sending out the standard mail as well. So we can adopt a policy that says we can send email communication to the customer in addition to the U.S. standard mail. So if there is an issue with the email perhaps going to spam or something along those lines. And the backup to that would be the customer receiving the email to the resident.
If needed,
if
they didn't, maybe if they did. So when the email goes out, would they have a certain? I mean, they have to have a certain number of days to respond, right?
Yes, ma'am. I think the email, if I'm not mistaken, once the customer receives the email, that's considered 1 day notification. So the following day, they will have 7 business days from that date to respond whether they would like to proceed with a appeal.
Okay. I've just gotten to this point since we got hacked that real important emails, I tell people after you sent the email, call my office to make sure I've gotten it because, some of them have dropped off. So I just wanted to hear that part. So I don't know. I don't know what else. Can you bring anything else in 2 weeks other than what we've talked about already? I think that's the question.
Well, I think we can map out the process with law and to council what that process looks like. I can also take it a step further if council is okay with that. We're more than willing as the department to communicate to our customers the status of the results verbally over the phone as well. Our customer assurance team is very capable of doing that, and I think that it also come out very well with our customers that may have the out of their dispute, and once that communication is delivered by phone, an email and perhaps even a letter can be sent just to cover all bases.
Okay. It's 2 weeks. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering if 2 weeks is going to jam up the system.
I don't believe so. It will not. We can certainly put that information together for you and get it to all the council members for review.
Okay. Okay, I'm done, Madam Chair.
All right. Let me see. If I'm still on here. Hang on one second. I'm back. Woo. Yeah, I'm back. Anyone else have any other questions? The motion before us is to hold this paper for 2 weeks to get additional information from the department relative to their process. I have a question. Do you foresee reducing what you will be asked to do as a result of a 2-week delay in the process? Will you come back and say, oh, we don't want to do first-class mail or email, or is it more likely that you'll say, in addition to these, we may add something else?
The only thing that I see that we could possibly add at this point is if council is okay, like I said, we're more than willing as a department to have verbal communication as a form of notification as well by phone.
I think that needs to be an amendment and add it now. I think you ought to call them as well. So what if we amended it and add the option to call? My challenge, though, is that you want to have something that you can have proof of having done it. A phone call, I include that, right? And so it's in that space of information, but nothing prevents you. Just because the code doesn't authorize you to do something doesn't mean you can't administratively or from a process perspective say, this is best practice. Let me at least call the customer and let them know this, and we're going to follow it up with an email and or certified mail warrant. What's wrong with what I?
Yes, ma'am. I think we can do a combination of a couple things. We can do the phone call, as I would call in the industry, a right party contact, and we are able to deliver information verbally. We can also further and just follow up with an email or a letter to the customer just for them to have as a record.
Okay. All right, so what we have is the beginning, and I appreciate raising concerns, and it sounds like a 2-week time certain is not going to unduly delay the process. So, for the comment, colleagues, let's vote.
The vote is open.
Mr. Shook? So?
Aye.
All right, is that vote? I believe so. So that is unanimous. It will be held for 2 weeks time certain. We look forward to hearing from you, Mr. Hawkins, and please let us know what cell phone will be on to receive the call.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, and I will make sure that phone number is updated.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on, Mr. Evans.
All right. Item number 720-0-1431. An ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor to enter into Amendment number 3 for FC 9215, annual contract for dewatering, hauling, and disposal services with Denali Q Joint Venture to add funding for dewatering, hauling, and disposal services on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management in an amount not to exceed $2,600,000.00, to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to pay outstanding invoices in an amount not to exceed $4 million.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the Fund Department organization and account number listed and for other purposes.
All right, let's take there to the without objections. This is the one I was thinking about. Please read resolution number 11.
Item number 11, 20R4070, a resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor to enter into renewal number 1 with Denali Q Joint Venture for FC 9215, annual contract for dewatering, hauling, and disposal services on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management in an amount not to exceed $8,150,000.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the Fund Department organization and account numbers listed and for other purposes.
Is Mr. Fletcher going to speak to us about that?
One moment.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Quentin Fletcher, Department of Watershed Management. This legislation allows for authorizing payment of $6.6 million. $4 million is for outstanding invoices. With limited landfill space available in the state of Georgia and increasing prices, we currently pay $1,224 per dry ton. Amending the scope of service to include treatment for beneficial reuse at the R.M. Clayton WRC ensures that the city biosolids are properly processed to avoid violations and remain in compliance. The contractor continues to meet the terms of this agreement, and this agreement will take us from September 1st, 2020 to August 31st, 2021.
All right, thank you for that. Any questions about this, or I'll entertain a motion?
Move approval, Winslow.
Second, Shook.
Thank you very much. It's been properly moved and second. If there's no other discussion, let's open the vote on both items.
The vote is open.
All right, it looks like everyone is it closed?
Yes, it is. Yes, ma'am.
All right, this too is unanimously approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Item number 8, 20-0-1432, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee to authorize the use of certain property owned by the City of Atlanta by and through the Department of Watershed Management as part of the city's water and sewer system for the purpose of maintaining the property as green space area and allowing limited public access for passive recreational uses, to authorize a memorandum of understanding between the Department of Watershed Management and the Department of Parks and Recreation for the operation, maintenance, and improvement of the green space area permitted for such use, to expressly reserve the right of ownership, operation, maintenance, repair, and improvement of the green space area for water and sewer purposes, subject to conditions described herein and for other purposes.
Sorry, I had it on mute. I'm sorry. Mr. Hill and or Mr. Voss, could you talk to us about this paper, please?
Maintenance of the property. Good morning, Todd Hill, Department of Watershed Management. The purpose of this ordinance is to authorize the execution of an MOU between Department of Watershed Management and the Department of Parks and Recreation for the operation and maintenance of the property containing the historic Fourth Ward Park Pond as a limited public green space and to effect the transfer of the property from ABI to the City of Atlanta. The land for historic Fourth Ward Park was acquired by Atlanta Beltline, Inc. through several transactions approximately 10 years ago. As part of that, one of the parcels, the Fourth Ward Capacity Relief Pond, was constructed on. However, the land on which the pond and other facilities are constructed remains in Atlanta Beltline's ownership, while Atlanta Beltline and the city completed environmental remediation under a prospective purchaser corrective action plan. Following the transfer to the city, the land will be managed by the Department of Parks and Recreation as a publicly accessible green space. However, due to our requirements under our bond covenants, we will remain ownership of the pond, and we will operate and maintain the pond and its facilities. This is a budget neutral impact on the department, since we are currently maintaining the operation of the pond now.
All right, thank you, colleagues. Any questions? Let me see if anybody is signed up to speak. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Shook moves approval. Second, Matsakane.
All right, thank you. If there's no other comment or questions, please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so thank you, Ms. Winslow. You're voting affirmative, yes?
Affirmative, yes.
Thank you. All right, I believe all votes have now been cast, and this is unanimously approved. Thank you very much. Next item.
Item number 9, 20-01433, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2021 Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension Fund budget in the amount of $13,000,000 to transfer funds from the Watershed Reserve for appropriations and add funds to the sanitary sewer repairs project and for other purposes.
All right. Who's going to speak to us about this paper from the department?
Who the department has requested this one to be held.
Oh.
I'm not sure there's a speaker.
Okay. Someone tell us why we need to motion? Who said, oh, God?
Motion to hold, Matsakane.
Shook seconds.
Why do we need to hold it is the question that I think we need to have the department respond to. But thank you. It's been moved and seconded.
Hello?
Yes.
Good morning. This is Christy Bickham. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
This is being held one cycle. The companion ordinances are on first read. They're items number, one moment, items number 2 and 3.
Very good. All right, that answers that question. Thank you very much. And if there are no other questions, so.
The vote is open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor of holding.
Thank you very much. Has everyone voted, Ms. Evans?
It appears so. The vote is closed.
All right, so that's unanimous that this paper will be held. Next item, please. Resolution.
Item number 10, 20-R-4069, a resolution by City Utilities authorizing the mayor to enter into renewal number 2 for FC 10515 and Questa Customer Information System Maintenance, Support, and Related Services with System and Software, Inc. on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management in an amount not to exceed $1,193,480.90. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund department organization and account numbers listed and for other purposes. There is an amendment in your packet.
All right, what's the amendment?
The amendment is going to increase the amount in the legislation from $1,193,480.90 to $2,796,376.90.
All right. I'll bring the amendment as a motion to amend. Anyone seconding that amendment?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion on that amendment? Not, let's please.
The vote is open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
Aye. In favor. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And Mr. Shook?
Aye, sorry.
No, that's fine. So we have 2 ayes from could not access the system. It appears that everyone has voted now, so that is unanimous that this paper now has been amended and is before us. Any questions, or we'll entertain a motion as amended?
Moved. Second, Matsakite.
Was that Mr. Shook as the mover?
Yes.
Okay, and then Mr. Mazikite made the second. There's no other questions or unreadiness. Please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
All right, thank you. All right, it appears thank you, sir. Everyone has voted. That is unanimous. That paper is approved as amended. Thank you. We've already done item 11. Next item, please.
Item number 12, 20-R-4071, a resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding and contract item agreement with the State of Georgia Department of Transportation on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management to relocate and/or adjust water valve boxes, water meters and boxes, manholes, water mains, fire hydrants, and other related facilities in conjunction with the State of Georgia Department of Transportation PIM 005988, State Road 14 from Coweta County line to State Road 92, State Road 138 in Fulton County, in an amount not to exceed $99,900.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the Fund Department organization and account number listed and for other purposes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Carla, can you talk why we are the Coweta County?
Okay. Good morning, Madam Chair. This is Deputy Commissioner Rob Bacaro, Department of Watershed Management. So the purpose of this legislation is to request the Mayor to enter into an MOU and contract item agreement with GDOT in an amount not to exceed $99,900, and it's for the purpose of adjusting water utilities that are in conflict with the GDOT milling and resurfacing project. This project is in Fulton County along State Route 14 from Coweta County line to State Route 92, State Route 138. Watershed management has 50 water valves that conflict with the project. The scope of work generally consists of lowering water valves prior to milling, uncovering, and raising to grade the utilities after the resurfacing is complete. Included in the legislative package is a map of the project location.
Oh, Coweta County is a reference point. You're the footprint.
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
No, it's so hard. Hang on a second. What we're saying is Coweta County is a reference point. You'll be mainly staying within the footprint of Fulton County?
That's correct. It's down by the county line between Fulton County and Coweta County.
All right. I will entertain a motion.
Move approval, Matsakite.
Second. All right, and was that so? Mr. Shook made the motion. Mr. Matsakite seconded. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. All right. If there's no unreadiness, please open the vote. What is this thing?
The vote is open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you.
The vote is closed.
Thank you, sir. That is unanimous. That moves forward. Thank you very much. I understand that under Section J, papers held in committee, items 21 and 22 are ready to move forward. So, Mr. Evans, please read the next item.
Item number 21, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to accept the name change of Big Belly Solar, Inc. to Big Belly Solar, LLC for FC 10127 Big Belly Maintenance and Repair Services, to extend the term of the FC 10127 Big Belly Maintenance and Repair Services on a month-to-month basis for up to 12 months, beginning May 3rd through May 2nd, 2021, to enter into Amendment Number 1 with Big Belly Solar, LLC on behalf of the Department of Public Works to add additional funding in an amount not to exceed $88,000.00 or $85,000.00. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the fund department organizations and account number listed and for other purposes. There is a substitute in your packet which will reduce the month. Yes, reduce the month-to-month time frame down to 6 months from 12 months, and it will increase the amount up to $100,000 from $85,000.
I move that the substitute be brought forward, please.
Winslow, second.
Thank you. There's no unreadiness. Let's vote on bringing the substitute forward, please.
The vote is open.
Mr. Shook?
Aye.
Okay.
The vote is closed.
All right. The substitute is now before us. That was unanimously approved. Is there anyone with any questions? This has been before us before. If there are no questions, we can go ahead and vote. Did we make need a motion now the substitute is before us? I'm sorry, I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Approve as substituted.
Okay, I heard Mr. Matsakite and Ms. Winslow. So pick one to be the mover and the other one to be the seconder.
You can be the mover, Mr. Matsakite.
You're so gracious.
I'll defer to you.
Very nice. I need to vote. Yes. Mr. Shook, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right. Is the vote closed?
It will be. It's closed.
All right, great. That is unanimously approved on substitute. And then our last item is number 22. Mr. Evans.
20-0-1366, an ordinance by Council Member Amir R. Faroqi waiving for a period of 1 year the provisions of Chapter 138, Section 234A8, application fee for right-of-way dining permits and for other purposes. There was a substitute.
All right. I move that the substitute be brought forward.
Shook seconds.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. If there's no unreadiness, please let's open the vote on bringing the substitute forward.
The vote is open.
Ms. Winslow? Okay, thank you. Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you.
The vote is closed.
All right, that was unanimous. So the substituted ordinance is before us. Did I hear someone talking? Okay. I don't know if Mr. Faroki or someone from his staff is on the line, or if someone from the law department wants to speak, or I will.
No one from Mr. Faroki's office has joined the call. There may be someone from law.
Good morning,
Well, I
Madam
know.
Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Grant. Go ahead, Ms. Grant.
I'm not sure if Councilmember Faroki is on the line, but my department did assist in drafting this paper. The purpose of the substitute is to actually adjust the whereas clauses to narrow the focus of the waiver onto public health in order to avoid any perception of a violation of the gratuities clause.
All right, thank you very much for that, Ms. Grant. I raised the issue relative to potential violation of the gratuities clause, and now with the narrowing of the scope and the clear identification and the whereas clause is for the justification for this, I am comfortable. Thank you. I do see a speaker has been identified. That is Mr. Mazzacati. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Question, does this, in addition to waiving the fees, also waive the requirement for going through the process of submitting paperwork to do the outside dining?
I don't believe so, but Ms. Grant, can you respond?
I can respond. Mr. Mazzacati, this does not waive any process. It only waives the application fee. The requirement for the application still remains. The requirement for the rental of the right-of-way still remains, and all other associated requirements for right-of-way dining remain. The period on this is only temporary for 1 year.
What is the process, the application process? Is that done online? Is it somebody has to come out? What can you describe that, please?
I don't have it committed to memory, sir, but what I can tell you is that there's an application procedure that is submitted to ADOT. ADOT must investigate the location that is identified. They have to make sure it falls within all of the parameters that are currently outlined in the city code. There are requirements for indemnification. There are requirements for insurance. There are requirements for quite a number of things, and I can kind of pull that up real quickly. But there are associated processes other than just application and being granted the ability to have right-of-way dining.
All right. Thank you very much.
Adding to what Mr. Mazzacati is sort of beginning to want to know more about, the motion might be to approve on condition that we understand that process more fully prior to the full council meeting.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, if we didn't have a motion on the floor, that would be the motion that I would make.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, and this is on substitute, is that correct?
Correct.
So the substitute is before us. Okay, so the motion would be to approve it on substitute on condition that we receive information about the process that the businesses would need to go through for this right-of-way dining permit. And it's been seconded by Mr. Mazikite, motion made by Archibong. If there's no unreadiness, let's open the vote.
One moment. The vote is open.
Let's see, Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Shook, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right. Is the vote closed yet? It is closing, right?
It's closing. The vote is closed.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Approved on condition, on substitute, that we receive that additional information. Are there any other legislative items before us?
No, there are no more legislative items.
All right, colleagues, any matters for the good of the body?
Yes, Madam Chair, Shook with a question to the members. My office is receiving an uptick in complaints around telecommunication installs and work in the right-of-way, and I'm wondering if y'all are experiencing it as well, or if it's a local anomaly.
Mr. Mazikite?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am receiving an uptick in those calls as well and concern about that, Mr. Shook.
And it may not be citywide because, as I understand it, for the present, the majority of the work is concentrated in the, as usual, in the Peachtree, Spine, Buckhead, Midtown, downtown.
So the department, I'm not getting it for any contact.
Okay, let me ask if Ms. Grant's still on the line. Who is this week's law department subject matter expert on this?
Mr. Shook, this is Ms. Grant. I am still on the line. I can give you as much information as I know.
Well, are you the person?
Yes, sir. This telecommunications and installs, it falls to the purview of ADOT, and I am the attorney assigned to represent you. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. And I won't drag this out any further here, Ms. Grant, but at some point in the near future, I'd love to chat with you.
Absolutely. Whenever
okay,
you
thank you.
All right, please include Mr. Mazikite, it seems, in that conversation as well. So, thank you. Anything else? If not, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right, very good meeting, colleagues. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
Great meeting. Thank you. All right, goodbye.